Welcome to Disaster Preparedness. My name is Ann Forrest. I was a Navy nurse a million years ago, did that for 20 years, retired, and then I've done a couple things since then, but a lot of disaster preparedness. We are recording this, and I will clean up the recording and then put it on YouTube and send out a link. I will send out the slides. There is homework. We will chat about that a little bit later because the goal of this whole series of classes is to help you get prepared. Little by little, every week you'll have a tiny bit of homework, hopefully a manageable amount of homework. Please do put questions in the chat. Please keep down the chatter in the chat. It's just very disrupted to some folks that are trying to pay attention, and watching the chat at the same time is a little bit tough. After class, happy to answer specific questions. So real quick about me, besides being a Navy nurse for 20 years, I am a volunteer with the Office of Emergency Management here in Seattle. I've been doing that for a little over 5 years now. And then I volunteer with the Emergency Communication Hubs here in Seattle. So I get information from a lot of different places. This class is not sponsored by the Office of Emergency Management, but they know I teach, and I teach for them all the time too. So we're going to talk about two things: what to do when the earth shakes, and then smartphone apps to download. So we're going to get started. What to do when the earth shakes. It truly is drop, cover, and hold on. The reason for the dropping is your goal is to, as soon as you feel the earth shaking, get down on your hands and knees, lower that center of gravity, get yourself down to the floor by your own power instead of being thrown there by the earthquake. Drop down to the ground. Even if you feel stupid, even if it's a small earthquake, it doesn't matter. As soon as you feel the earth shaking, get down on the ground. Cover, meaning get under furniture if you can, and then hold on, because if that furniture bounces, you want to bounce with it. Most of the injuries during earthquakes, especially here in the United States, are from things falling on you, not buildings coming down on you, not pancaking, but things coming off the wall and off the ceiling and hitting you. So get under cover if you can, and then hold on. Do not run during an earthquake. A lot of folks have this instinct to get out of buildings. It's a really bad idea. A, you're going to get hurt if you start running. B, going through doors is a really bad idea because there's going to be lots of people trying to run to the doors, and because there's doors there and hinges. So running through doors is bad. Running outside of a building is a really bad idea, and I'll show you that in a second. A couple things that folks think is a smart thing to do is to get in a doorway. That is not a safer place to be. It's based on a totally different kind of architecture. The buildings here in the United States, doorways are not a safer place to be. And like I said, there's a door there and there's hinges there, and one of those is going to cause some havoc. And then the triangle of life. We used to tell people, it was a myth. I don't think the experts ever told people, but somebody made up this idea that getting next to a piece of furniture, next to a table, was safer than being under the table. And it is not. The triangle of life is not a safer place to be. You should get under furniture if at all possible. If you can't get under furniture, then get next to it. So I want to show you this video. That is a very small bedroom, a very short earthquake. That's a fairly strong one, honestly. And you can just see stuff comes down off of the walls and will fall on you, which is why the drop, cover, and hold on, always the best thing to do. We spend a third of our lives in bed, hopefully 8 hours a night. Let's make sure that we are safe in bed. This is how you ride out an earthquake if it happens in the middle of the night and you're in bed. You stay in bed, you lay face down, pillow over your head, protect your neck. You can protect your neck or your head, but honestly, your neck is much more vulnerable than your head is. You have this amazing skull protecting your brain. You don't have that same kind of protection over your neck. So be sure to put your hands there if your shoulders allow for it. Stay in bed until the shaking stops. Once it's done shaking, you want to move nice and slow. No rushing out of bed because you don't honestly know if the shaking is done. So move nice and slow. You don't want anything to fall on you unexpectedly. So slow and steady, get out of bed, grab your light. So light source is one of the things on your homework list, is get a light source next to your bed and put some old shoes next to your bed, because this stuff that's on the ground that's broken, you don't want to step on that with bare feet. Those two things are on your to-do list. If you're looking at it, the first one says practice drop, cover, and hold on. That's a lot more fun if you have kids in your house. The second one says lie in every bed in your house and look up and around what might fall on you. Number 3 is remove and secure pictures, shelves, or heavy furniture around the bed. Number 4 is sturdy shoes and socks under everyone's bed. And number 5 is get a light source under that bed. What we're going through right now is on the top, so you don't really have to take notes unless you want to. We are going to talk about the smartphone apps and how to download those. And then this stuff in the orange box, this is your homework between now and next week. And those 5 things I just read are there, those first 5 things there. So shoes and socks under your bed, and that's how you write out an earthquake, in bed. If you're in school or if you work in an office setting, you're going to get under the bed, under the table, drop, cover, and hold on. This person here is next to an interior wall. Really, the goal is to get away from these windows. And you can see they're all protecting their back of their neck. Here's another video. I want to show you guys how quickly these kids especially drop, cover, and hold on. They move a little bit faster than this instructor.
Don't let yourself be convinced to do something that you know is bad, and then Ian finally just shared
with even a few seconds of warning.
So that video goes on for a while longer. But you saw how the kids got underneath those tables really fast. They were really good about holding on. This guy is as low as he can get. Good on him. So if there's no table or desk, this person right here is up against that interior wall trying to get away from the windows. This person, they're obviously having trouble with ambulation. So their goal is to get lower than the back of this chair. So if something falls off the wall or off the ceiling, hopefully it hits the back of the chair before it hits their back. So get as low as you can in the room. Make sure that the furniture is higher than you are and just stay there until the shaking stops. Grocery store, this is a bad aisle to be in, but maybe up against the shelf is a better place to be than in the center. But if you have the option, this person right here is next to a grocery cart. That could give you some protection. Again, the hands are on the back of the neck in both of these individuals. This one in the wheelchair, they've locked the wheels of the wheelchair and they are trying to get lower than the handlebars of that wheelchair. And then this person in the front is showing you how to protect a small child. Basically get them underneath you, hang on to them, put your other hand on the back of your neck if you can. So that's writing it out in a grocery store. In an elevator, you want to push all the elevator buttons. See if you can't get that elevator to stop and pry the doors open and get out. And all this is on your handout. If you're in a theater, again, these folks are crouching low. They're trying to get lower than the furniture. You could certainly get on the floor of the theater, but they're protecting their head and the back of their neck. If you just exited a building, go back inside. It is really a bad place to be, right there on the sidewalk outside of a building. Even if the building is nice and sturdy, there's lots of stuff on the sides of buildings that's going to crack and fall off. Bricks, gargoyles, decorative concrete, glass from the windows, it's all going to come crashing down on the sidewalk. You do not want to be there. So if you have just exited the building, go back inside, right inside that entrance, drop, cover, and hold on. If you're outside, get as low as you can, make yourself a very small target. Stay away from power lines, buildings, because like we said, we don't want that stuff coming off the building to land on you. Get away from buildings and get away from vehicles too. Standing in the road's not a good idea. If you are driving, pull over, set your parking brake, but don't park underneath overpasses, bridges, or power lines if at all possible. If you find yourself there, just kind of keep creeping forward, because even if that overpass is nice and stable, all the concrete on the bottom of that will crack and fall down on your car, and you don't want to be there. So ease yourself out from underneath things, set the parking brake, and sit tight until after the earthquake's over with. If you are near the shore or beneath a dam, this is a really important one. First, if you feel the earth shaking, you want to drop, protect your head, protect your neck. As soon as you are able to get up and walk, get up and start moving. Walk quickly / run to high ground or inland. So this is a picture of folks evacuating, and you're trying to get as high as you can. So you want to move as quickly as you can and go as far as you can inland and up to get away from any kind of tsunami. Signs of tsunami is coming. The ground shakes, water recedes below low tide level. Don't wait, move. The movies make it look like there's this huge wall of water and you can see it really far off. It is not. That is not how it happens. There's a great deal of water involved in a tsunami, but it's not really tall and obvious until it gets pretty close to you. So you won't see it, hundreds and thousands of yards away. It won't get really tall until it gets pretty close to you. Here's a good picture of how to protect a small child if you're doing the drop, cover, and hold on. That is it for the first piece, just kind of how to ride out an earthquake. I will send it out again. Please look for an email from seattleprepares@gmail.com. It went out this morning, and I will send it out again when I send the recording out. The other thing we're going to talk about is smartphone apps. If you have a smartphone, there are applications you can download. I downloaded them all. I stuck them in a folder so that my phone isn't super cluttered. I marked mine emergency, but you can call it whatever you want. Weirdly, there are apps that you can use that are very helpful after a disaster. Some of them will work even if you have no cell phone signal, no internet, no connectivity whatsoever. It's kind of like having a phone downloaded on your book. So, I'm sorry, a book downloaded on your phone. So we'll go through those. So like I said, there is some technology that might be useful in an emergency. The video I'm going to send you a link to has a lot of QR codes. Hopefully by now in the pandemic, you all know how to use a QR code. So ideally, you would be watching this video on a computer screen. It's a YouTube video. So on a computer screen or a tablet or a laptop or something like that, and you have your phone next to you. So hopefully you have those two devices. You can point your phone at the screen and use these QR codes to get to where you need to be. Let's see, the American Red Cross and FEMA both have alerts, alerting software, alerting apps. So they have to know where you are in the country. And if you're in an area where there's a danger coming, it will let you know through these apps. It will send you an alert. I have a good example. A friend of mine was traveling to Hawaii, but she had one of these apps turned on and she got an alert like 9, 10 o'clock at night saying the rain is really coming down hard. There's going to be flooding in your area. She was staying in an Airbnb, so not at home. She didn't really know what to do, but they went out and they looked at the car and they went, oh yeah, we could probably move this to higher ground. And so she did, and her car was fine, but she went out the next day and the neighbors that lived there didn't get the alert and their car was just a mess, tons of water in it. So very, very useful to have turned on so that you get alerts about dangerous situations in your area. So those two alerting apps are available on the video that you'll get access to. These two apps, they're called Pulse Point. If someone near you is having a cardiac emergency, it will let you know if you download this app and want to get involved. And this other app will let you know if there is an AED, a defibrillator nearby, so that you can run get that and maybe save someone's life. So this is very much first aid, emergency kinds of stuff. You can read more about it on the YouTube video that I'm going to send you, and you can decide if you want to get involved or not. So those all need internet access to work. Otherwise, they can't send you information if the cell signals are down or the internet's not working. But the ones we're going through now work even without cell phone signal or internet or Wi-Fi. Red Cross has a first aid app for humans and a first aid app for pets. And again, it's kind of like having a first aid book loaded on your phone. You can look stuff up even if there's no internet access. WebMD, very similar. This one is survival app. This one is hazardous materials. There is a sweet spot 30 minutes after a hazardous material spill where you really need to take decisive action. And this one will let you know what to do. So let's say a chlorine gas truck has an accident in front of you. I would start hightailing it the other direction, but I also would be looking up on my app, what do I need to be worried about? Google Translate. You never know when you might come across someone during an emergency where you don't speak their language and you could communicate with them using Google Translate. That's another one of the apps we suggest you download. This one's a knot tying app. You never know when you're going to need that. And then there's offline maps. There's maps that you can download on your phone that will help you navigate from one spot to another, even if there's no Wi-Fi. You do have to download the map ahead of time. So, we happen to use Google Maps, and we have downloaded the map of Seattle. So it's actually sitting on our phones. So if we lost internet access, we would still have it available. And then when we travel, we try and remember to download those maps ahead of time as well. So look into those. Like I said, everybody in my family puts them all together, labels the folder emergency, and so they're all just kind of sitting there, a couple pages of them. And then the other couple things on your to-do list is to sign up for for Alert Seattle and Alert King County. These are not apps. They don't sit on your phone. You need to go to a website to sign up for these, but they can send you alerts on your smartphone if you have one. They can send it to you on a regular phone. They can call you and give you information. They can also email you, and text you. They can send you information however you want to get it. And you could choose the information you want. Do you want information on traffic situations? Do you want information on earthquakes or fires or hazardous material spills? Whatever it is you want to hear about, you can customize these two apps to give you the information you want. And the last one I'm going to talk to you about is called Smart 911. Again, it's a website. You go into it, you give the information that you would like first responders to have on the way to your house. So if you have a medical emergency, you call 911, you say, I need an ambulance, and they say, what for? And then they will look up in the system to see if you have entered anything into Smart 911. If you have, they can tell the ambulance drivers on the way to your house, this is what to expect. This person is confined to a wheelchair, or has a really big dog, but they're really kind, or it's really hard to find their driveway. It's a very hidden driveway. There's lots of information you can give them. This person's a diabetic. They have COPD. Information that they have walking into the situation that they wouldn't have if you didn't put your information in Smart 911. So that's there. So this is what the video looks like. Tech Ready is what it's called. Again, it's on YouTube. And then the last thing I have on your to-do list, if you're interested, is to sign up for the Seattle Prepares newsletter. That's something I send out. I honestly don't send out much at all. I think I average once a month, if that. So you're not going to get inundated by information, but if there's something good going on, a sale that I know about, some big event that you might learn, I will send information out that way. Next week, we're going to talk about water, and we're going to talk about power outage lights. So I will see you on Wednesday, October 19th. It is the same link that you used tonight. I will send out the recording either tomorrow or Friday from this class, and I will see you next week. Please work on the things on your homework list. This doesn't work if you don't do the homework in between classes. So I will see you next week. If anybody wants to sign up for classes that wasn't here, the link will still work. I will make the link good for next week, and they can sign up then. And they'll get the recording from this week's. So if they missed the first class, no big deal. They can easily get caught up. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go.
Thank
Take care.
you.
See you next